Whoa, what an incredible fish. We didn't expect there to be fish of this size in Lupa, but that's not even the most surprising part. What surprised us even more was how many of them there are. We had so many bites that one boat wasn't enough, but even so, we had to fight for every single fish. Why is that? Because the aquatic vegetation is brutal, and it's very hard to find a spot where we can present our bait on the bottom. And even then, success is far from guaranteed here. After the aggressive bites, the fight with the fish is absolutely crazy, with the line getting snagged in at least 3 or 4 places for sure. This is real jungle fishing, going after the old monsters of the Quarry Lake. If you're curious about how we managed to catch some of the most beautiful, iconic and biggest fish in Lupa, then stay with us for this film. We wish you an enjoyable time. Ah, what a beautiful fish. Where should you look for big carp in a nearly 100-hectare quarry lake, where fishing is not even allowed in most parts of the lake? And even where it is, it's not all smooth sailing, since a huge percentage of the lake bed is covered with aquatic plants. And there are very few spots where you can lower your rig without it getting snagged on something, and where the fish can actually find it. I think this is the most important part of fishing, but it's not worth overthinking it. I've always followed the principle that I want to sit in an area where there are spots that not many people fish, and where the fish can feel safe. My fishing partner, who often comes to Lupa, told me that you don't need to fish at great distances here, because no one casts far out. At that moment, I already knew how I had the chance to catch truly special large carp. I need to get my rigs out as far as possible, but on Friday, around dusk, after a very long week, I finally made it to the water's edge. That's why I decided that on my first night I would test the strategy that Rolly suggested to me. We started our trip at fishing spot 12, where I found a tiny little patch both at 60 and at 120 meters without any vegetation, and that's where I placed my markers under the cover of night. I made my rigs unnecessarily complicated because I thought that due to the vegetation I would need special jigs here. But as it turned out, I was able to abandon these very quickly, since fish arrived at both spots very soon and neither of them weighed more than 10 kilograms. So next time I brought back a fluorocarbon rig with a single 24mm sinking carbohydrate boilie. Fortunately, it quickly became clear here as well that there was no need to overcomplicate the whole thing. Basically, the most important thing is to fish in the right spot with a rig that, when the fish sucks it in, hooks itself, and by simplifying my strategy like this, I was able to hold a magical mirror carp in my hands on the very first evening. Wow, the evening is really lively. This is already the third bite. The previous one was like this. Well, it could have been at most 7 kilos. There's a huge jungle battle going on in the water. They keep finding all the aquatic plants. You have to get in the boat, and it's a lot of work. But finally, a nicer fish came along. This one is definitely well over 10 kilos. It has a huge belly. Oh, how beautiful. Let's go. As soon as the sun started to rise above the horizon, I immediately got up, got into the boat, and started looking for new spots. At 190 meters, I found a little patch that was free of aquatic plants. The spot looked really good. By the way, it was close to the wakeboard track, very far from everything else, and I was really careful not to overshoot it. This time I baited less, about 5 or 6 boilies and just half a handful of tiger nuts. I think there's a phenomenon that if someone goes fishing and has a whole week, they can start building up a spot, keep baiting it, and eventually catch bigger and bigger fish from there. But if you only have, say, a weekend to fish, you can't really do that, and I've often experienced that when I start fishing in a new spot, the first fish is always the biggest, but if I bait heavily, then smaller fish tend to come. That's why, when it comes to new areas, I start fishing there in a focused way. This time too, the bite came very quickly, but even I didn't expect that there would be such a fish on the other end of the line. That's also why I love fishing. If you put in the right amount of effort, you'll have unforgettable experiences. Little My God, what a truly beautiful fish. Ooh, oh my. Yes. Pretty nice one. Actually. Well, I didn't expect that. This morning, I wasn't satisfied with one of my buoys and moved it to another location and managed to catch a wonderful, nearly 18-pound mirror carp. This fish is huge and very beautiful. While this is exactly the kind of fish I imagined catching before I came to Lupa. But I think this fish is magical and it almost swam into the wakeboard track. I barely managed to reel it back, but luckily I succeeded. My god, what a fish. Oh, this is truly so incredibly beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. I hadn't even fully realized yet that I was holding one of the biggest fish in the lake in my hands, but I felt that it would be very hard to top this. Then my bite alarm beeped. Maybe people think I'm a strange angler because of this, but I like to examine how old a fish is, and I really love old iconic carp, or the ones that already have a name in that particular lake. Because I think it's much harder to fool an old 12 or 13 kilo carp than a young 20 or 25 kilo one. After all, it has much more experience, and for me the bigger challenge means a greater achievement. And now my hook was taken by a truly old fish. A fish that I had my eye on. I dreamed about catching it, but I didn't really expect it to happen. Wow. Damn, what a fish is that? There isn't even that much depth here, man. I mean, fish. I need a moment to fully process this information and give it some careful consideration before I can provide a comprehensive response. Come back. Don't do this to me. Oh, what the fuck? It looks like a distinctive fish. Jesus. Wow, that's a nice fish. It has to be. Yes. Yes. Yes.
This is a very beautiful fish. And how he has lost weight. Jesus! Haha.
But since I changed places, the party really got going and I managed to catch a huge, old, beautiful carp. It's certain that it's been here since the beginning. It's not a young fish. It's really brutal. I'll pour some water on it, then I'll lift it up. There's a little wound on its head and a plant has grown into it. That's really wild, a real dinosaur. This won't be easy to hold because it's so thin. Ah, what a beautiful fish. Now let me show you the other one. Let's take photo. It has a beautiful color. There are some really beautiful dogfish here. The carpia are simply brilliant. This is a beautiful fish and it's actually very stocky. I have to admit, I got a bit confused after all this. Usually I set really big goals for a fishing trip, but this time I've definitely exceeded them. I didn't know what to do next, but imagine I actually managed to top this as well, so it's worth watching the whole video. After I released those two amazing legendary shovel-headed natives, total chaos broke out. By the end of the day, I could only fish with one rod because the bites just kept coming non-stop. This reminded me of a story which you might not understand how it connects just yet, but please listen to it. During the journey that allowed me to become one of the country's biggest fishing content creators over the past few years, I've experienced a great many significant ups and downs and have changed a lot throughout my journey, but one fundamental thing has always remained very important to me. I've always held a core, unwavering principle, and that is to be able to thoughtfully share the valuable insights and profound thoughts that I genuinely believe will profoundly benefit people. and to actively help, to thoroughly educate, and to meaningfully contribute to the genuine success and well-being of others. It's a noble goal, but it has come with many sacrifices. Many times I felt like an oddball, and of course that's never a good feeling when you're young. But I set very serious goals for myself, and I was always thinking about how I could work towards them. From the age of 15 to 22, life didn't bring me together with people who thought the same way as I did, but now that has changed. Fortunately, I got to know Tamas Varadi, one of the founders of Vampire by Talam. I was immediately reassured by the mentality that he and his team have. That's what we'll be talking about in the next few minutes. How did the story of Vampire by Talam begin, and how did this whole thing get started?
Wow, honestly, it was really like a fairy tale, just like it's written in the storybooks. I remember sitting on the shore of Lake Zalok. I had already reeled in the rods for the night, and then a huge storm came. I went into the tent, it was pouring rain, and I tried to fall asleep, but I just couldn't, because every 10 minutes or so, just as I was about to drift off, the alarm would beep once. I kept waking up and then tried to convince myself to go out into the pouring rain just to lower the sensitivity of my alarms. And after about 2 hours, I finally made the effort, went out, turned it down, and then I just couldn't fall back asleep, even though my alarms weren't making any noise anymore. And then it hit me. I could have done this from my phone. And that very night, I immediately called Akos, my co-founder, because we had just started our master's program at the university that year. And I said, Akos, I have a huge idea for our thesis project. Let's dive into this. Let's create a bite alarm system where we replace the transmitter receiver with our phone. Many people at first think this just complicates things, but actually the opposite happens. So as soon as your phone becomes the transmitter receiver, everything becomes so much simpler. You don't have to mess with buttons out there. I remember when I was out by my bite alarm and I just wanted to turn up the volume. I press it once, it's a bit louder, press it again, even louder, press it again, and suddenly it jumps to the quietest setting. Honestly, the whole thing is just a nightmare. This way, on my phone, I can simply adjust the volume with a slider, and it's so easy to set everything up. Not to mention, this way the whole thing can be updated. So we designed all of this for people, for anglers. If anyone comes to us with an idea, I tell the developers they implement it, and with the next software update, the new feature will already be on their phone. Honestly, you just can't compare a black plastic transmitter receiver device to a huge touch screen that's super smart and can do everything. So I could really go on listing these until the end of the day. My personal favorite, for example, is that our app works like Strava or the Nike running app. You go outside, start running, launch a run, and from that point on, you don't have to do anything. The app automatically tracks where you run, your average speed, and so on and so forth. The Vampire app does exactly the same thing. I press Start Fishing Trip and it logs my location for me. When I catch the fish, I can replay the bite, how long I played it, weather conditions, and so on and so forth. These are so useful, and it feels so good to send this to my buddy compared to how I used to send him a message on Messenger saying, hey, I'm at Lake Zalok, I caught this kind of fish, and he would always ask, but with what? But where did you cast? But I don't know, and I couldn't answer all his questions. Now I just send him a link, or he opens the app, scrolls through, sees what my average weight was, the photos are organized there, and I can easily share the experience with him. He can even replay the bite for each of my catches, so there's just an enormous difference. That's as far as the app is concerned. Then there's the bite alarm side of things. Well, we equipped that with a computer. It's packed with sensors, it knows everything for us. And it's not about having created such a smart device that it replaces the person, so you don't even have to go out to the lakeside anymore or anything like that. It's simply about making fishing easier and more comfortable. I don't have to manually enter into my phone how many kilos the fish is, where it came from, or anything like that, because it fills it in automatically for me. And it's such a liberating feeling that I'm not glued to my phone all day, but simply get to see the results of my fishing. And next time I go out to the same lake, I don't just sit down somewhere at random, but my choice of spot is actually based on something.
Because, let's admit it, choosing the right spot is the most important factor in carp fishing. At Lupa Lake, I invested a lot of time and energy into deciding where to place my rigs, and because of that, I was able to catch 6 beautiful carp in just a few hours on the first afternoon of my fishing trip. Today, I'd like to show you the 3 most beautiful ones. Now I put on a double 24mm carbohydrate boilie and barely baited the spot, yet I still got a bite very quickly. I had to wait about an hour, and then a wonderful, roughly 10 kilo Spanish-style mirror carp arrived. It put up a huge fight in the wind. Wow, this one is solid, it has some weight to it. But what a beautiful fish. The heat is really starting to become unbearable. For me, the daytime part was a write-off because I needed to rest a bit. I didn't sleep at night. I put on the double 24, and for a while there was no bite, but now I refreshed it. Put on a single 24, and very soon I got a bite and landed a wonderful 10 kilo mirror carp. It seems there are a lot of mirror carp here, but they are really tough fish. Finally, I caught a slightly bigger carp. There have been a lot of these 10, 11 kilo ones, but this one is over 14 kilograms. I'm very happy. A truly beautiful mirror carp, very thick bodied. Well, it's not typical of me, but I spend the night sleeping instead of fishing because all that reeling in really drained me. But of course, as soon as the sun started to rise, I got up too and was already thinking about a new strategy. Almost immediately after casting out, I caught a beautiful common carp. By the way, I should add that at this point I was only fishing with one rod, and as soon as I took it back out, I got another bite, and this time an impressive mirror carp took my bait. This one is really beautiful. Well, it seems that the new spot I found is also really good, because as soon as I got there with the rod, I hadn't even put the swinger on yet and it was already taking off. And on top of that, it's a wonderful mirror carp, well over 10 kilos. It has a huge belly. I'm really happy about it. After that, I decided I was going to take a risk, and what a good decision that was. I put on a double 24mm carbohydrate boilie on a fluorocarbon leader. I moved closer to the wakeboard track. I was about 220 meters away. I put 5 boilies on it, no seeds, and then I came back. Well, of course it took the bait just when Rolly was also playing a fish, so I sprinted over to the neighbor and borrowed this boat. The fight with this fish was really adventurous, because Rolly was also playing a fish at the same time. It had just started heading in and was already pulling on mine too, so I borrowed the boat from the neighbor because I could feel this was going to be a big fish. And I was right. The fight was really intense. It tangled up a ton of weed everywhere. It went under the end of the fishing line. I pulled it back, but I could barely net it. It was an incredible experience, and I managed to catch a wonderful 17 kilogram mirror carp. I'm so happy. This fish is amazing. All in all, I wrapped up a very successful fishing trip this weekend. But what does this actually mean in numbers? Altogether, I caught 14 carp with an average weight of 11.38 kilograms, and their total weight was 159.3 kilograms. Besides being able to share this fishing trip as a whole with my friends and pass on the experience, I also noticed that the air pressure remained more or less constant throughout, so next time I go fishing at Lupa, I'll know what kind of weather and air pressure to look for, since I was very successful this time. In addition, the app also shows that the really big carp were feeding roughly between 7 and 10 o'clock. This is also very important information, since it's possible that next time, much less time will be enough for success because of this. And the crazy thing is, that's not even all. In addition to the weight and length of the fish I caught, the app of course also saves the rig and bait I used. And with the help of the anti-theft feature, I'll know how long the setup was in the water, when the bite came, and how long I played the given carp. And of course, it's not mandatory, but if someone wants to, they can write down their exact strategy in the notes. What I really like about Vampire is that besides building a community, it helps us notice those connections that are guaranteed to make us better anglers. And if we become better anglers, we can have much more rewarding experiences by the water. We want all your dreams to come true. If you also want to enjoy the benefits of the Vampire Bait Alarm, head to the web shop and use the Fisherman15 coupon code for a 15% discount. We hope you really enjoyed this film. Share your thoughts in the comments, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.